Hi again, everyone. TJ Ald's I-45 now, and just a few minutes after we signed off, we get our first early results in, and we're going to start off. This is the early returns and some, by the way, election day counts of what we got in Galveston County. And the screen may be a little bit small for you to see there. So let me scroll it over to you. We're going to start with the mayoral recall in the city of Marque. This is the early voting plus some election day voting that's come in so far. And in this case, those voting for the recall is at 44%. Those voting against it at 55%. This is early on here. Was coming in. So this is in the Marque election mayoral recall. This is calling for the recall of Mayor Keith Bell. And right now, this is early voting returns as well as election day. It does not include, by the way, mail-ins, because that's going to be all the mail-ins yet. So we're going to have, this is early on that I want to stress that here. So again, right now, those voting against the recall is at 55%, and those voting for it at 44%. Let's go ahead now and take a look at, we're going to scroll on up now to take a look at the elections in League City, starting with position 2. This is an open seat here now. Tommy Combs versus Billy Frigia. And you can see there, this is again early voting, huge numbers there coming out, and Tommy Combs with 71, almost 72% of the vote in early returns, and just a smattering of election day returns there as well. That's a significant number. So Billy's going to have his work cut out for him here tonight if he wants to overcome that hugely. Tommy Combs, this will be his third time to run for city council. He was elected the first 2 times and then was defeated once, and the other time resigned to take a job with the city of League City as the assistant fire chief and fire marshal. But in this case, as you can see, Tommy Combs with a commanding early lead here. Let's go to look at League City Council position 3. Larry Milliken had this seat, left office early. So this is for the unexpired term. Finish out 2 years, and then whoever wins would have to choose to run again. It's a 3-way race here right now. And this is early returns along with a smattering of election day returns. Tom Cruise, who, by the way, had the Republican Party endorsement here, he has a commanding lead at 12,000 votes compared to Chris Dotson, who has 62, almost 6,300 votes there, and then Brian Hanby with 2,700 votes. So Tom Cruise with a significant lead there. The CPA, who had the Republican, you see his signs around, look kind of like the Maverick movie signs from the other Tom Cruise, as some say, along the way there. Chad Tressler, obviously unopposed. So he got all 20,000 votes that people voted early in the 13 that voted the day of. Now let's go to position 7. This is a 4-year term here. And 3-way race: Larissa Ramirez, Sean Saunders, Angie Mertens. Sean Saunders, by the way, also had the Republican Party endorsement. Angie Mertens, this is her third try to run for city council here. And taking a look at things now, Larissa Ramirez is trailing Sean Saunders. Sean Saunders with 38% of the vote, almost 39% of the vote. Again, these are just early returns, plus a smattering of election day returns there. And so Sean Saunders with 38, almost 39% of the vote, and Larissa Ramirez at 37%, Angie Mertens at 23% there. So that's how that's playing out. Again, in a 3-way race, you got to get more than 50% of the vote to avoid a runoff. We saw that a couple of years ago in another race that Angie Mertens was a part of, and then that went to a runoff there. She didn't make that runoff from that time. Again, as we started off here, the recall election, this is early returns only, and a few election day returns. And we should point out that the day of election day returns, however, take a look at that. While it's only 29 votes, it's still significant in that return. Not sure what polling locations are reporting that right now, because in Galveston County, you can vote at any voting location there. So that could be anywhere from the county that box has already come in there. So just that's where that stands. Let's go ahead now, and we're going to go down to the to the Texas City ISD bond proposals. Here they are. I want to go over those with you. Let me bring up my notes on this so I make sure I get the right bond proposal when I talk to you about this. So Prop A is the first one, passing overwhelmingly with the early returns. And as I said, just 6 total election day votes so far. So far from over here, but 61% of the vote for Prop A. That's the $131 million for school facilities, including a new Marque High School, a new early childhood center, a new ag barn, a new STEM robotics center, renovations and expansion of Texas City High School, which will include a fine arts and career tech there at the high school, and district-wide safety and security upgrades. So that's the big ticket one, $131 million Prop A in Texas City. Prop B on Texas City ISD, that's $27 million there. That includes renovations and additions to the Texas City High School Stadium and a new Marque High School Stadium as well. So Etheridge Stadium it's going to be a new stadium replacing that. So that's in Texas City. That's a little closer there at 52% of the vote for it, and against it 47%. Again, mainly just early returns here. Because of the high numbers of voters on election day across the county. As you can see the numbers there, we got from Galveston County officials that thus far, 44% of the registered voters in Galveston County cast ballots. That was as of 7 o'clock tonight. There were still some people online, so it's going to be a little over that tonight, but 44%, that's pretty significant for what's considered a midterm election there. We gave you the Texas City numbers already to let you know as well. So Charlie Segueri's updating those so you can see those throughout the night as well. Let's check over on Harris County to see if we have any movement on the Harris County elections thus far on the races we're following there. Yes, and we do. Again, this is going to be, I'm going to double check of what we got. This is all going to be early voting so far, and some mail-in ballots out of the Harris County election. So right now, Lena Hidalgo, the incumbent, the Democrat, with a narrow lead over Alexandra Mueller, the Republican. And that has been a nip and tuck in the polling back and forth there. Lena Hidalgo leading there barely, maybe about 10,000 votes there. And let's check and see if we have Harris County Commissioner Precinct 2, and we do. The incumbent, Adrian Garcia, the Democrat, 51% of the vote. Jack Mormon, a former, by the way, Harris County Commissioner, with 48.65% of the vote. About 4,000 votes separating those two. Now, these are early returns only. I will double check it. You can see it the way I see it here. Yeah, there's some mail-in ballots there. But most of these are the early returns. So that is for our Harris County viewers. Those are the 2 races we're following tonight. But the big news is coming out of Galveston County, where we will scroll down to now to go take a look at some other Galveston County races. We told you about the League City elections there. Now we're going to take a look at how things are going over what Galveston County Judge Mark Henry, 65% of the vote over William King. This again, mostly early voting returns here, 65% of the vote there. And he got 91% thus far of the few day of votes that came in there. Then we have Justice of the Peace Precinct 3. Now remember, the redistricting here changes some things up for Billy Williams, the Democrat, who was the incumbent here, but the district lines changed it up and made it more favorable for a Republican, Larry Davis, now with it coming in there. But Billy Williams, you would think it would go the other way because of those line drawings, but Billy Williams dominating here with 62% of the vote so far. And that carries over really from the early voting there again. And in Galveston ISD single member district trustee 7G, Mindy Lakin. She is the incumbent there. This is early voting only, no day of voting from Galveston yet. And trails Ken Jenks, 51% to 48, almost 49%. There. I know the number's a little bit small for folks. I'm trying to zoom them up for you to take a little bit better look at it there for you. And so those are our numbers coming out of that race. Now let's take a look at, let me go ahead and go full screen with these results because you can still hear me as I go through it here. Now let's take a look. We're not going to do High Island, and we don't cover that area there. So you're going to go again. I was telling you about Texas City Prop A. That's the big ticket item, $131 million for the new Marque High School, and some other improvements there, including a STEM and robotics center, an expansion at Texas City High School for Fine Arts and Career Tech. Again, that so far early voting really returns only on this one, 61% of the vote there. And Prop B, that's the smaller ticket item. It's a little closer on that one, 52% for 47%. Percent against that one. Now let's go ahead and take a look at election night across the state as we take a look in our race for governor. These are from the Secretary of State's office that I'm going to give you these numbers here. So that's that you can, hopefully you can see. Let me screen it in just a little bit tighter for you here so you can maybe see it a little bit better. It'll stay in screen, but bigger print for you here. Okay, there we go. And again, this is mostly early votes coming in here so far. 1,029,000 early votes. That's almost all of what we've got counted so far. And Governor Greg Abbott with a lead there, 56%. Beto O'Rourke, the Democratic challenger, who came very close to Ted Cruz for the U.S. Senate run, then had to abandon a run for Democrat nomination for president. There at 42%, so still trailing. All the polls showed that he wasn't ever ahead in this race. Dan Patrick, Mike Collier, Dan Patrick, the lieutenant governor, up with 54% of the vote. Again, these are state numbers, not local numbers. These are state numbers that we're taking a look at there. Attorney General Ken Paxton, even with all the scandals involved with him, brought up in the primary as well as here in the general election, he's got 54% of the vote. Again, all early returns there to Rochelle Garza's 43% there. Commissioner of the Texas General Land Office. The reason we bring this one up is that that's important for Galveston, particularly beach renourishment and the like. And plus, if you think about the still rebuilding after Harvey and Ike, by the way, and some of the rebuilding programs there, the General Land Office handles all of that. Obviously, George P. Bush ran for Attorney General, so he did not run for re-election. And so what you're seeing here is the Republican Don Buckingham with 57, almost 58, really 57% of the vote. Jay Kleberg at 41% of the vote for the land office. Member of the State Board of Education, District 7. That is the area that covers the Gulf Coast region, Galveston County, part of Clear Lake area. Julie Pickering dominating in the early returns of that one, 84%, almost 85% of the vote. Dan Hogman, local, out of Galveston County, running in that race as well as the Democrat, then the Libertarian way behind on that one. Now let's take a look. State Representative District 23, no returns yet on that between Terry Leo Wilson. She's the former state school board member and is running to replace Mays Middleton. Keith Henry, the former Texas City Commissioner, is running against her as the Democrat. We don't have any returns from that. Most of that's going to be Chambers County and Galveston County that will carry those numbers. State Representative District 24, those are all, we don't have, the state hasn't caught up yet with this, but that's Greg Bonin and Michael Creedon. I remember Michael Creedon ran for Clear Creek ISD School Board a few years ago, and no official returns. And again, we're looking at the state numbers. U.S. Rep, District 14, Randy Weber, the incumbent, 84% of the vote so far. Again, mostly just the early returns here. In fact, all of that is the early returns in that race. So that'll give you kind of a perspective of what we've got going on there for you. So again, early returns mainly only that we have so far. Let's take a look and see if we've got anything new on Galveston County. See if we can give those to you. No, it's still the numbers we gave you. We'll go over those again here just real quick, just to catch everyone up. For those who didn't join us earlier. And what you're looking at there, this is just the Galveston County vote in District 11. District 14, I should say, for Congress, Randy Weber, the incumbent. That's just the Galveston County numbers. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down. Sorry if I'm going to make anyone a little seasick as I scroll to get down to our local races. The Galveston County form doesn't allow me to skip through like I do on the others. So again, Mark Henry dominating for re-election. So far, this is the early returns only, of course, but 65%. You remember I was telling you earlier what was being looked at here from just taking a look at the early voting there. There was a lot of new voters or folks that didn't have primary elections. So really haven't looked at their history yet, but it looks like most of those that came in voting Republican, Mark Henry dominating that. Justice of the Peace Precinct 3, Billy Williams, the Democrat, the incumbent, even after redistricting, leading the way over Larry Davis, 62% of the vote. Again, this is mainly just early returns coming in right now. Single member district trustee 7G, Mindy Lakin, the incumbent there. This is early returns only, is trailing Ken Jinks right now. 51% for Ken, 48%, almost 49% for Mindy along the way. And then again, a lot of attention being given to the Lamarque mayoral recall. And again, we'll show that to you here right now. Those voting for it, these are just early returns mainly, and a smattering of election day returns. We don't think this box is, by the way, from Lamarque. This is going to be outside of that, but 29 votes the day of. But what matters is the total. And again, those voting against the recall of Mayor Keith Bell, 1,771 to 1,416. Charlie Segari is updating these numbers for you. They're on your screen. We have each of our big races spread out down here. So, and Rebecca Martinez asking, I'll pop up your crester here. Rebecca, why doesn't the state of Texas have the numbers yet? So sometimes what will happen is you'll see these local numbers. They have to go through a system before getting up to the statewide. And tell you what, we'll bring those up again here. Now, Texas has, because of across the state here, and I'll bring it up, has obviously the statewide numbers of Greg Abbott, the lieutenant governor, the attorney general, commissioner of the Texas General Land Office there. It is only in the state rep district 23, 24, as well as in Congress. Now we have the early returns. That's probably going to be the Brazoria County numbers that come in off of that. They're usually pretty early with their returns in Brazoria County. Not a lot of hotly contested local races in Brazoria County. So, and Amber Jenkins was asking about Jack Rody. Yes, so we mentioned that. I'll bring up Jack's numbers here for you right now. So you can see those. He was leading the way on his election as well. That gives us a good chance too. While we're at it, let's go ahead because it's right below this. So Jeff Jones, Christy Walsdorf, running for the district judge 122nd district. That's John Ellisor, has held that seat for many years, the senior judge on the district court. He is stepping down. Jeff Jones dominating. This is early returns only with 65% to Christy Walsdorf's 34%. Again, early returns. We don't have many election day returns. Criminal district attorney Jack Rody, 49%, 66%, 49,000 votes, I should say, 66% of the vote in the early return there. Rody's pretty popular across there. So it really is one of those things as we take a look at the early day counts, it's going to be tough for anyone to even close a gap, much less overcome anyone the way the numbers have played out here, because what we have going on here is more than 50,000 votes that overall that voted early in Galveston County. And how you know that is most of the time folks are going to take those early top of the like Abbott in the governor's race, I should say, 47,000, almost 50,000 there on early returns. It's going to be around maybe 22,000 day of. So really for anyone trailing in these down ballot races, it's going to be tough. So if you got 22,000 votes there, it would mean, quite frankly, 90% of the vote would have to go the way of the Democratic challengers in those countywide races for that to go. So Amber, that's a good question, by the way, and thanks for that. Appreciate that. That's one that's always kind of, you want to look at the numbers, but you have to kind of put the math together. How many people voted early? And Galveston County really is a early voting county. And so when you look at this here, the day of surge is not going to be enough really to overcome, maybe close the gap, but not to overcome any of those local races like county judge, district attorney, and the like there. Obviously, there are a lot of unopposed Galveston County races there. The 122nd was the only district court race that was up as well. So really, that's going to be one. What we're looking at is what's going to happen state representative district 23, because that is going to be Galveston County and then Chambers County there. Chambers County, highly Republican. Terry Leo Wilson already leading the early vote count on the Galveston County side, as you can see there. And then also District 24, all-encompassing Galveston County. And there's just not enough votes there, I think, for Michael Creedon to overcome, at 68% of the vote. Greg Bonin looks to be reelected on District 24. Sorry, Michael, but that's just how the numbers play out on this one. With 33,000 votes to 14,000, there's just, really no coming back from that, no matter how, the turnout just wasn't enough on election day for that to change there. Where it's going to be the difference is what's going to happen in those local races, the League City election for council, what's going to happen in the mayoral recall. That's where we're going to be looking at, all right, does election day make the difference in those numbers? And that's what we'll be looking at throughout the night tonight as we go through again. But as we said, it's going to be still a long night. Kimberly Kyle just asked on the Board of Education. And as I said, District 7, that's the one that covers in our area. Julie Pickering had a pretty commanding lead. Early votes only there, but it doesn't look like there's enough day of, but we'll keep checking on the state numbers. In fact, I'll bring it up for you right now. There, Kimberly Kyle, who just timed it. Thanks for watching, Kimberly. We appreciate you. And this is, I'll bring it up right now for you. There we go. We'll just go full screen with it here. Hopefully you can see it. Julie Pickering with 84% of the vote there. This is all of District 7. And that's updated, by the way, now. 65% of the vote now for Julie Pickering. So, and Dan Hogman is now at 59,000 votes with 32%, but doesn't look like so far even with the heavy turnout. But we'll see what part of that district does and have that for you as well. So you can ask your questions in our chat section. We'll do our best to get that to you. Let's go back to Harris County real fast before I take a break here. Again, the two races out of Harris County that we're following, because this is in our coverage area, is Harris County Judge and Harris County Precinct 2 Commissioner. The Democrats leading in both of those. So, and this is all early returns really so far. And Lena Hidalgo, the incumbent, who came out of really nowhere 4 years ago and defeated a strong Republican incumbent, or so it thought, hanging on with a very small percentage lead here. And just over 1% difference here, but over Alexander Mealer. And then Jack Mormon, former county commissioner out of Harris County, should point out, and Adrian Garcia, the incumbent there, former Harris County sheriff as well. And Garcia holding on at 51% in that race. So really, when we come back, we're going to be calling some of the Galveston County races, because as we take, I'm just doing the math on here, really, like in Mark Henry's case, he will be reelected. There's just not enough votes there from William King III to catch up on the day of. There were too many early votes there for him to catch up, no matter how the only way he could, if he got 90% of the election day return, that is not going to happen there in Galveston County. So William King ran a pretty good race, though. First kind of Democrat that actually gave at least something more than lip service to running for that seat. And so we'll have results for you throughout the night as well. As you can see, we will update those when we get them. We're looking to see if we've got any new updates Galveston County, and we don't. It's the numbers we've been giving you are been those. We're waiting for some more there. And again, we're looking at the races in League City Council, the mayoral recall, and the Texas City ISD. Prop B is the one. Prop A looks like it's on its way to pass pretty easily, but Prop B a little closer. And then right now, it depends on what the day of turnout was in Lamarque, and we'll have to see what that was to see if there was a chance for the recall. But right now, those voting against the recall, and that means the mayor gets to keep his seat, is at 55%. Difference there of 300 voters, and the Marque turnout is not always as strong election day as it is during early returns. But the election day returns, if you look at it right there at 29-6 only, but it's still significant in just as far as percentages are concerned. So we'll have more for you throughout the night. Thanks for watching. I'm TJ Alt, I-45 Now. If you have any questions, I said when we come back on, we'll hopefully have some more results for you here in a little bit. We will be updating the numbers separate from when I come on. Charlie Gary's updating our numbers in the scroll, so you can take a look at those on the different individual races that we're following there throughout you. So you can take a look at it, and we appreciate all of you who are watching there and asking questions as well. We appreciate you. I'm TJ Alt, I-45.